Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to episode 49 of the Alchemy Devlog. It's your pal Isaac here with the latest from the team. In this episode, we're going to talk about Tal'Dorei, tag picker trackers, spell embed codes, some action updates, and more. We'll also take a few moments to go through what we're working on next and answer some of those questions that have come in since last time. If you have a question of your own, you know where to find that link. It's down below in the description, so send it my way. Let's dive in. So first up, Tal'Dorei. I'm not going to go too into detail here because Dan did a great live stream on our Twitch channel earlier this week going through all the stuff in detail for about an hour. I'll link that also down below, probably in the comments, so take a look at that. But I will give you a quick tour of what we've got going on there. So let's go over to my content universes and let's pop open the Tal'Dorei campaign setting universe. So I have the Alchemy Enhanced version here. We have a bunch of motion graphics that come along with that, motion overlays, and the very cool multi-track Alchemy Enhanced audio for this one. But we've got all of the contents of the book broken out into this universe in these really well laid out articles with cool art for each one of them, and all the information that you need to run a campaign in the Tal'Dorei setting. We've also got a whole bunch of NPCs, 43 of them, some pre-made characters that fit the setting, all ready to pick up and play, and a few other items and other objects as well. And as always, you can quickly start a game with that quick start just by going over to, let's actually do it from the marketplace because that's a cool way to do it. We'll go over to this one and just click launch quick start. That's a one-click way to get into a game. And once I'm in here, I'll show you a cool thing that we updated for the 5e sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll invite my test account as a player and play them. And this is a first for 5e content on the platform. We've got the races from the Tal'Dorei setting here in the race dropdown. So we're starting to kind of mix in some of the data from that setting into this picker here. So I'll make a Furbolg monk. That sounds fun. Named Jim. Traditional family name. So we've also made a few small updates to this to make these pickers a little bit easier to work with. The ability to enter custom is much more obvious on these now, class and race for 5e specifically. And the level picker has had a long-standing bug where you could pick like really weird numbers here. That has been fixed as well. And while we were taking a look at the 5e sheet, we did one more thing over on the spells tab. This field has now been updated to not be broken up strangely into a little squished thing over here that it had been for quite a while. So this is now just a nice sensible picker for your spellcasting ability modifier for your spellcasting characters in 5e. Not just in the Tal'Dorei campaign setting, but any 5e setting. So, have a look at Dan's walkthrough on our Twitch channel. The VOD for that is up there, and the link for that is down below. And you can grab the Tal'Dorei Reborn campaign setting on our marketplace today. All right, next up, let's take a look at trackers. The tag picker tracker disappeared for a little while, but it is back. So to take a look at that, let's jump into this Tal'Dorei game again and just quickly jump back into Jim the Furbolg and take a look at his trackers on his character sheet. And when you go to add a tracker now, the tag picker tracker type is back. So you can have that cool tag picker tracker, which 5e probably wasn't the best choice of system here because you can't actually use those as the GM from the game panels, but here it is. It's back. If you like the tag picker tracker, it is your friend for times where you need just text-based tags that can be picked from the tracker panel quickly and easily. I'll actually just jump over to that account now and show you that from the player side of this game. We have our trackers panel, and here's our tag picker tracker with the like this or this tags that you can pick from if you want to set those up on the player side. Or in any other system, the trackers panel also shows for GMs. We know it's something we need to fix up for 5e, and we hope to get it in there soon, but there's just no more room for panels in 5e games, so we're working on it. But yeah, the tag picker is back, and there was much rejoicing. All right, next up, let's dive into a quick universe update. So for this one, let's take a look at a created universe. I'm going to make a new one, and we're going to make this a 5e universe because we need the ability to create spells. So we'll call this Spell Embeds. It's 5th edition, and we'll jump right into that universe. And of course, what we're talking about here is the ability to embed a spell in Markdown, just like you would many other universe object types. So we'll make a devlog spell, and we'll leave everything else as is. Give it a little description, I guess. And now here's our spell that we created. If we go in and let's give it a few fields, I guess. We could give it at least like a casting time, duration, and a range of 60 feet. That'll do. Now it's not quite as sad looking. Much better. So now if you just right click on a spell, there's a new menu item here to copy the spell's embed code, just like you can do with other universe objects. And then anywhere you're working with Markdown throughout Alchemy, you can paste that embed code to show a button that shows that spell. So we'll just use an article since that's a pretty simple way to test this out. And if I just paste that in here, we have our nice Markdown. Jump out of edit mode, and that renders as a nice little button that you can click to open the devlog spell that we had defined in a spell details modal like this. So that pretty much rounds out universe objects that are clickable or embeddable as clickable buttons, and pretty good little lift for that in universes. So I hope you all enjoy that in your world building fun. All right, next up, let's take a look at some action updates. I'm going to go back into that Tal'Dorei game because I just can't stay away from it. And let's play Jim again and create an action for him. We're going to go with an attack action. We'll go with a standard attack. We're going to call this Fancy Strike. And this will be an action attack that uses strength and deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Nothing out of the ordinary here. What's new this time around is when you chain another action on top of your action, you can now name the subsequent actions. Before, this was only available to attack action types, but now you can have any action type and give it a name. So we could do a dice roll, name it something like Fancy Roll, and we'll make that a 1d4 dice roll, just straight up, and save that. Now when we use the Fancy Strike action, it's going to roll both the Fancy Strike action and the Fancy Roll, and we can actually name the Fancy Roll whatever we'd like now, instead of that just coming through as the Fancy Strike. So you can see the 1d4 that was rolled there, in addition to our attack action that we had set up in there. And this is available for all of the action types that you chain onto here, including ones that are past the second. So if we were to put a skill check specific to 5e, a roll table has a name here. The same with dice pools, even messages. Hiya. So we could put a message on the end there. And of course, that's not going to have a name in the journal, but there it is, doing its thing. So that should make it a little bit better to create different types of actions that you can chain together in your games and make those very clear instead of just using the parent or first actions name for all subsequent chained on actions. So yeah, that's that for actions this week. Let's take a look now at filters. Since I'm still here, we can do that in this game. Filters have been updated to include the modules in a much more sensible way. So we had an issue where someone was playing Dragonbane and they were searching for a dragon NPC and they actually couldn't find that NPC because the search for dragon matched everything in Dragonbane, of course, because Dragonbane's in the name. And our filter was, not smart enough to work that way. So it's been updated to work that way now. And that got the same treatment everywhere. So like, for example, if I was to add a scene to this game, this filter bar lets me pick from the Tal'Dorei campaign setting module or the Tal'Dorei campaign setting enhanced edition and filter down to just those. And I can even filter those down some more to things like only scenes matching Oasis, for example. So now that kind of filter has been improved everywhere throughout the whole game experience, and even in a few other places. No, actually, just in the game experience. There's no other place where the module really comes into play when you're searching. So that is nice and updated. And while we were at it, we went ahead and added some more filtering to items specifically. So if you're searching for an item through OmniSearch, this little search glass here, if you're searching for an item in here, I'm not sure what's actually going to come up for this. You can search for items by properties in addition to just, their names and other fields. So when you have an item with property tags on it, those are now searchable as well. So a couple small updates to our searches this week, but nothing too wild there. Just some good fixes. All right, let's jump out and take a look at what's coming up next. So we are still hard at work on Call of Cthulhu. We've got the beta in full swing. Lots of folks are participating in that, giving us really great feedback. We have a long list of, it's down to about, I think, 8 things left now to deal with to try to help get Call of Cthulhu cruising along nicely. One thing we did ship for Call of Cthulhu beta is the ability to have initiative. So in Call of Cthulhu, your encounters are based on the dexterity of the participant. And so we've got that set up now so that you can turn on turn order for a Call of Cthulhu game and they'll get sorted by their dexterity score. There's a couple of edge cases with Call of Cthulhu where if you're using a firearm in combat, it can give you a bonus, or if you have a tie, you may need to look at a different field. And those are sort of handled now just by drag and drop. You can just move people around in the turn order just like you could in any other system. So other than that, we've been working on some searchability things inside of Call of Cthulhu. If I'm playing as this character and I go down to my skills, there's a very long list of skills in Call of Cthulhu. So we made this searchable by itself. So you can search this for credit check. Oh, it's not called credit check, is it? Well, let's search for something else. Credit rating, that's it. Credit. Bingo, there's my credit rating. Gotta love checking your credit in a tabletop role-playing game. Always a good time. So we have, like I said, about 8 things or so left on the list for Call of Cthulhu from beta feedback, and we're continuing to monitor that beta for additional feedback items and address things. But I think Call of Cthulhu is kind of rounding the final turn here in its race towards the marketplace. We're very close to releasing this one, and we should have it ready very soon. Beyond that, there's a few features that we need for our pal City of Mist. If you take a look at our content roadmap, you can see that we're working on betas for Call of Cthulhu and City of Mist. This is a bit of a heavier lift, I think, than what's left for Call of Cthulhu. But there are some app-wide changes that we're going to make to support City of Mist. And we'll be getting that stuff out here in the next few weeks as well. After City of Mist, we've of course got the remaining systems that are in alpha for the V1 release, like Degenesis, Cyberpunk, Wild Sea, Stillfleet, Pathfinder, 2nd edition, and Shift, that we'll be continuing to work through that list, in addition to rounding out other things. Streamer mode, of course. None of this stuff's really going to happen in the next 2 weeks, but I'm just kind of rattling off the things that are in my head for what we need to wrap up for V1. And that's, of course, streamer mode in addition to these systems. So we keep chipping away at our list, and we're inching closer and closer. All right, let's go take a look at some Q&A. Dice visuals. Grazed, coming back into the Devlog Q&A forum. I have more of a suggestion than a question. I love the whole pure, clean look of Alchemy's UI, but I really like how some other VTTs, the dice were rolling in 3D in front of us. It felt real. Doing so here would break the nice minimalistic graphic approach, but maybe the exterior shape of the dice could change based on what they are, instead of just having all numbers on the same round circle. When you roll some different dice, say 1d20 and 2d6, you have to put your mouse over each to find out which dice gave which result. Maybe the d6 could appear as a square, the d4 in a triangle, the d20 in some kind of polyhedral shape, and so on. Would that be possible? Thanks, Grast. Yeah, so I love this idea. I think that's a great way to sort of differentiate the dice in a journal card really quickly and easily from the player's perspective. I'll definitely bring this into some design discussions soon and see where we land on this. So thank you for the feedback. Trackers in tactical mode. Is there a way for us to get tracker indicators, for example, mana and HP, on tokens in tactical mode? I'm currently running a JRPG style system, and it would be awesome if my players could be able to see each other's tracker stats at any time, or at least on hover during a combat scene. Much love, adore this software, and my players love it too. New Raven. Thank you for the kind words there, New Raven. We're glad that you like Alchemy and adore it, I guess, and that your players love it too. That's great to hear. So we don't currently have this feature in the app, but we have actually designed this sort of thing for tactical mode for tokens. And I think it's definitely something that you'll see come to the platform sooner or later once we get back into some tactical mode things. I don't think this will land before V1 unless we're waiting on something else to kind of wrap that up. For example, some of the systems that we're working on. But yeah, this is definitely on the list. So thank you for sending in that request. Search skills. Oh, hey, I showed this one earlier. William says, with systems with a long list of skills like Call of Cthulhu, would there be a way to add a search functionality to quickly find skills rather than scrolling all the way down for track? I know this would be taking up precious UI space, but a hidden search bar revealed by scrolling up or a keyboard shortcut would be great. Can't wait to kick off my new Cthulhu campaign on Alchemy soon. Yeah, so as I showed earlier, we actually added this specifically for Call of Cthulhu skills, and we might bring it to more places or make skills and other things searchable in another way, so stay tuned. Sharing characters. I love this one. So Greylion, shout out to Greylion, MVP on the Discord server. Greylion says, we would like an easy way to visually share characters. It's very common behavior for players and game masters to share characters on Discord or other social media platforms. At the moment, you finish a character for a game, you're charged with excitement, and you can not easily share the character with someone else. Some highlights. Many times a player says, my character's done, take a peek. Or a world builder says, look what I just designed. Or does this character look correct? Publishers could drop characters during a Kickstarter. Publishers could drop characters on their Discord. I could drop a character on Discord. This all leads peeps back to Alchemy and helps get the excitement up and the word out. In the last week, I've followed no less than 4 links of characters to their various sources. In short, a URL to a character, just like an article. And yes, there are workarounds, see below. This is great for a game master creating a summary for pre-made characters. This is not, however, realistic for a player or a new player just joining the Alchemy system. Thank you for your tireless efforts, Greylion. So I love this idea, and I can't believe that we haven't really designed this out or thought through it before. I think it's a fantastic way to be able to share a character, and I think that we could do something very similar to what I showed earlier, where you can embed a link to a spell. In fact, we have that for NPCs and premades and universes today. Something similar to that where you could just share a link and it kind of pops up a modal with the character in it would be a quick way for us to do this, but I love the idea of doing something really special here. So I think we'll definitely do this, and I think we'll probably roll it out in 2 phases. The first phase being a quick and easy, like, show a modal for the character, but then I think we'll take some time to design out a unique experience for sharing characters in this way. So again, love the idea. Thanks for the feedback. And that is all we have for questions this week. All right, that's it for this episode of the Devlog. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, head on down below, smash that like button, subscribe for future updates. Go check out our Twitch channel if you haven't already. Again, Dan has that great Tal'Dorei overview over there on our VODs. Again, link down below. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Let's go play some games.